Hi guys, in this video I'm gonna show you some advanced aspects of creating PDFs with Puppeteer. I'll show you how to take HTML content, add images, render tables, and customize headers and footers with dynamic information like titles, date, and page numbers. By the end, you will have a solid framework for creating professional PDFs for your projects. As you can see, I set up a basic Express server instance to speed up things a little bit. Before we start is to install the Puppeteer npm package. After installation, I'm gonna start the server and start writing the code for the endpoint. First, create a new try and catch block, and I initialize a new headless Chromium browser. So const browser equals await puppeteer dot launch. Yeah, and don't forget to import it, I forgot it. And as you can see, since we're using await, don't forget to add async here as well. After we initialize the headless Chromium browser, we are going to create a new blank page in this headless browser. So const page equals await browser dot new page. The page is ready, so we need to set the content of the page we want to render. Await page dot set content, and to make things simple, just a simple h1 tag, the hello world text. The page is set, so now it's time to tell Chromium to render the page and export it as a PDF. Const PDF buffer equals await page.pdf. After this, we're gonna close our headless browser. It's a really important step. If you don't close the browser, each new request will start a new browser, and that will consume a lot of memory. So you want to really avoid that in production. And to finalize things, we have two more steps to go. We are going to set the response for the client. So response.set content type. This has to be application /pdf. And we are going to send the response to the client as well. And lastly, of course, catch the errors if anything goes wrong. Console log error and send a response status 500 and send fail to generate PDF. Let's check the endpoint now. You can see the PDF is generated successfully, but this PDF is in a preview mode, so it's not downloaded to your computer or anything. It's just a simple preview what the content looks like. So you still have to click the download button to download it to your computer. Now, in order to fix this, let's go back to the code base, and besides the content type, I'm gonna set the content disposition as well, which has to be attachment semicolon, and file name. You have to set a file name, which will be the name of the downloaded PDF. You can set anything you want. If I go back and try the endpoint again, you can see the PDF downloaded. Open it and it still works fine, but now it's downloaded to your computer. Okay, let's go back to the code base and tweak the code a little bit. By the way, if you want to let your users decide whether or not they want to download the PDF, instead of attachment, you can set this to inline and still leave the file name here. So when they download it, by clicking the download button, the file name will stay. If you don't want them to download it, you can just clear this and only leave the content type application PDF, and it will give them a preview and they can decide if they want to download it or not. Okay, let's go a bit further and add some more content to our page to render. I'm gonna create a new variable called HTML, and inside that I'm gonna add some HTML content. Let's just grab this h1 tag here and add a paragraph. This is a picture of a cute cat, and as you can imagine, we are going to add a image tag with the source of https:// cat as a service /cat. Close the source and add the fixed width of 500 pixels, and lastly close it, and let's change the set content here to HTML. Okay, if I go and check the endpoint, you can see the text and the cute cat in a bee suit appear. Now what if you could change the margins, the size, the width, height of the PDF, or even change the orientation from portrait to landscape? Now all this is really possible in Puppeteer. If I go back to the code base, I'm gonna open a new curly brace here at the page.pdf, and we're gonna try some options we can use here. So the first one is the format you can choose. There are many predefined formats you can see here. Basically all the general paper sizes are listed here, and many other versions options available. By default the format is A4, so if you don't set the format, it's gonna be A4. Now I don't want to use this because it's kind of obvious how to use it, but try the width height options. For width I'm gonna do 500 pixels, and for height let's go with 1000 pixels, and let's change the cat width to this, and let's generate a new cat again. As you can see, the width of the PDF is much shorter now. Now let's go back and change the orientation to landscape. Landscape true. If I go back again, you can see the orientation change to landscape mode. Now let's go and try add some margins. So for margins, you can open up a curly brace and basically set for each side a separate margin. For margin, you can use millimeters, centimeters, pixels, and inches. I'm gonna go with pixels now. Let's go with 30 pixels for top and bottom, and go 60 just to really see how this works on both sides. If I go back, refresh it, you can see the huge margin on the left side, and you can see obviously on the top there is the margin as well. Great. I go back. There is one more option that I want to show you, which is scale. So basically with scale you can scale up and down the size of the whole HTML content you have. I'm gonna do a scale down 0.5, go back to the browser and generate a new PDF. You can see everything, the whole HTML content scaled down. I'm gonna go back to the code base and we are going to make a more advanced PDF that feels like a real world use case. As you can see, I set up a basic fetch function that fetches Pokemons from the classic Poke API, and all this does is returns 10 Pokemons in an array with the ID, name, the image, the exact image, and the type of the Pokemon. And besides that, I created a generate HTML functionality that takes the Pokemon list array as an argument, and basically this will create the whole HTML content for us. As you can see, I added some basic styling to make it more visual, but this is really simple, just maps through each Pokemon and creates a new row in the database, in the table, to show you. And if I go to the endpoint now, you can see the H1 Pokemon inventory appears and all the Pokemons fetched, plain and simple, with images. Now, as I promised you, we're going to make this PDF look a bit more real world use case. So I go back to the code base and let's make this one page PDF to 2 pages. I'm gonna introduce a page break here. So below the h1 tag, let's create a div with the class of page break. It's just an empty div. And also for the styling, I'm gonna add page. Also for the styling, I'm gonna add for the page break class page break before and set it to always. This setup forces the browser to create a new page before the element. So Pokemon inventory is gonna be on one page, and right before that it's gonna create a new page, and the page break and our Pokemon table is gonna be on the next page. So let's go. Let's refresh this. And you can see we have one page with the Pokemon inventory text and another one with the Pokemon table. Okay, let's take this a bit further. In a corporate situation, you usually have headers and footer with pagination on these PDFs. So let's go back to the code base and set that up. If I scroll down to page.pdf again, open a curly brace. First, I'll show you how the default header and footer template looks like, along with the type of data it contains, and then we'll make a few tweaks and customize it. So let's set this option called display header footer, which enables the basic default header and footer, and we'll also have to add some margin, since the header and the footer both will take place in the margin area. So if you don't set a margin, obviously your header and footer template won't be shown. So let's go for only the top and the bottom, make a good 60 pixels for both cases to avoid any issues. Let's check the PDF now. Refresh it. And as you can see, the header displays the current date and time, while the footer shows some text along with the pagination. You might be wondering what this about blank text is doing here. That's just Puppeteer's default placeholder when it can detect a real URL for the page. We don't even want to display that, so let's go back and customize both the header and the footer. And I'll also show you the parameters you can use, like title, date, time, and page numbers, so you can set them up exactly the way you want. Let's start by adding the header template option first. You can either hardcode an HTML template directly here, or create a separate variable and with the HTML content and just reference it. For the header, I'll hardcode it, and for the footer, I'll show you the alternative approach. Let's start by adding a couple of backticks here and a div. I will also add some basic styling for this div. Make sure to set the font size at least 10 to 12 pixels, because by default it's really small and it's really hard to see. I'm gonna set it to 14 just to make sure, and also add the text align, center, and the width 100%. Let's break this here. Inside this div, I'm gonna create two spans, one for the title and one for the date. To set optional parameters like title, date, and the pagination, you can simply add semantic classes to your elements. For example, if I go here and say span, class title, it will automatically fill the page title. Or if I go and add the span with the class date, it will show the current date. So let's finish up the code here. And don't forget to add the comma here. Previously we didn't set any title in the head section of our HTML content. So let's scroll back to the head and open up title, and let's make it for my Pokemon inventory. Let's check the PDF, refresh it, and as you can see, the page title and also the current date is displayed correctly. And if you scroll down, you can see it also appears on the second page as well. Okay, let's set a custom footer now. I go back to the code, scroll down, and as I told you, I'm gonna create this in a separate variable called footer template HTML. Let's copy the header template here, scroll up and create a new variable called footer HTML template, and just copy and paste the template. And instead of title, we're going to use page number, which will show us the exact page we are on. And right next to it, we're going to add another span. Let's just, or maybe just copy this, cut this, and instead of date, I'm gonna write total pages, and that will show you how many pages there are in this PDF. So page number and total pages. It's set, so let's go back and refresh it. And as I scroll down, you can see in the footer the page number we are on and the total pages displayed here. Perfectly fine. And that's it. We covered how to generate basic PDFs with Puppeteer, how to add images, render tables, and customize headers and footers with dynamic content. There's a lot more you can do, but this gives you all the necessary tools you need to start creating professional PDFs for your projects. Happy coding, guys, and see you in the next one.